So as you know, when your sun is moving through the sky, in terms of how you see the sun travel, it's not as if you have morning, high noon, sunset, and night. It's not as if you just have these four themes of solar expression. There's many gradations between those 4 points, yes? You have the sun as it's rising. You have the sun as it's setting. These two periods, even though they are oftentimes seen as first you have day and then you have night, really what's happening is you're lumping those four solar points together. These two periods of time slightly overlap. Think of them as two spheres, yes, the sun and the moon. They overlap, forming the Vesica Pisces, and there's a almond sliver that is these two spheres overshadowing each other, yes?
Yes.
Does that make sense? So there's a part of this timeline you're being given that is an overlap period. So you have the building time period, which is the Brahma Day. This is the creation of universes, galaxies, stars, suns, planets, moons, beings.
Yes.
This is the building, and civilizations flourish, many species flourish, many worlds flourish. It's a constructive time. These beings evolve gradually from matter to spirit. Yes? This transition from matter into spirit starts to really take off once this grand timeline's sun passes the high noon position. Once it starts to make its way towards sunset, this is when the physicality is at its peak. It can't go any higher. What do we mean by this? There will be microevolutions, but it's not as if human beings will grow wings, for example. Yes, the DNA is largely at its peak in relationship to the construction of your form. You can evolve your form more, you can perfect your form more through those microevolutions, but it's not as if you are going to evolve more limbs or something like this. So obviously in your species timeline, you have already reached that high noon. So now you're moving past it into the waning solar light. What does this mean? Things get a little darker, things get a little more challenging. Yes? Because as you know, when things are at their peak, everything is at its peak, positive and negative, yes? So things are more challenging once you move past the peak. Everything's at its ultimate. Yes, all of the pieces are in place. It's as if someone's building a chessboard. By the time high noon is reached, all of the chess pieces are constructed. Now the game begins. What is this game? Ultimately, it is the overcoming of challenge for the purpose of ascension. And this is what happens as the day begins to wane, as the sun moves towards the sunset point within the solar cycle. Once it's at the sunset point, this is when light and dark become incredibly balanced. This is when there is tremendous integration. And as light and dark becomes balanced, a source portal is opened up. And this will cause the physical beings, whom have now evolved into physical energetic beings, quasi-physical beings, it will cause them to gradually move through that source portal that's opened. So for some species, this is a complete dematerialization. They physically ascend. For some species, it is the end of their road. They simply let go of their physical bodies. They no longer need them. There's all types of interesting paths to ascension that many species take. But that represents this solar time of moving through the sunset period closer into night. And this is when universes become more quiet. This is when there are less physical beings, there are more energy beings. This is also when celestial bodies begin to go through their ascension. As you go from sunset into the night towards midnight, This is when the celestial bodies of a universe begin their dematerialization. So the stars begin to darken, the planets brighten and fade. That which is material gradually becomes immaterial. These energy currents will sometimes be elevated into higher realms, and a higher dimensional universe is born, a spiritual type of universe. Or these energies will remain at the same level, more or less, and what they will do is move through certain portals, black hole portals that exist within this universe. And all of that dematerialized celestial energy will then pass through those black holes to be projected out of white holes within emerging universes. And this would then be the sunrise of the Brahma Day.